to this week's episode of The Effects Loop. I am your host, Jay Byrne. This week we're going to talk about something a little different. And it's weird to say that it's more of a drum thing, but it technically is, but it's not. You'll understand once I get going. We're going to talk about this. I'll do like a little bit of an unboxing here so you can see what you get inside this box. The Roland SPD 1 Wav Pad. I had a little problem, okay? As a performer, I want to do solo gigs, and if it's just me, I have to play to some sort of backing tracks unless I'm doing straight up just acoustic with nothing else behind me, which is fine too, but I do like to do some of my electric stuff as well. So I need to find a way to run my backing tracks through a PA system, a mixer, what have you, through something. And I needed to be able to trigger them while I was playing. Now, I could have a click running in my ears and have in-ears and all that stuff, but that's just getting very, very complicated, and I wanted something simple. So, you know, I was using an iPod at first, but the iPod is clunky and it's a pain in the butt you can't really trigger it. You have to start it yourself, and it doesn't always want to work. Because anybody who knows, if you're a guitar player, you get calluses on the tips of your fingers.
What are you talking about?
I was talking about calluses on my fingers.
What's a callus?
Calluses on my fingers, the hard part of the top of my fingers. It makes it hard to like scroll on a cell phone and stuff because the phone doesn't recognize the finger.
Yeah.
It needs like the soft part of your finger. I don't know what it recognizes, but it needs the sensation of the finger, that's all.
Why don't you just use a stylus?
Why don't I just use a stylus? Okay, let me get back to what I'm doing. So anyway, yeah, I had an issue. I had to figure out how to run my backing tracks through my equipment. And there are
race cars outside.
Yeah, race cars outside my house. That's nice. Anyway, so I needed something that I could actually run the tracks off of, but I needed to be able to trigger it myself. Maybe like a foot switch or something. Now you could use a looper pedal as well. You could use like a Boss RC5 because you get a lot of space in the RC5. You could load the songs in, and I think that is what's called a one-shot mode, and you could trigger it with the pedal. You could use that. It's a little bit of overkill though because there's a lot of features. I wanted something simple. So I started scouring the forums, and every time I would get into a forum, I would notice that people would say, oh, you need to get yourself a Roland SPD SX. I'm like, what the heck is a Roland SPD SX?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, I'm going to say. A Roland SPD SX. So apparently a Roland SPD SX is a larger version of this that has like 6 pads. It's essentially a drum machine. But in that drum machine, you can load samples. So what Roland did is they realized that people were loading just backing tracks and they were triggering them from these very complicated, expensive drum pad machines. Okay. It's very complicated, expensive drum pad machines. And so they came up with a few ideas. They said, well, why don't we come up with something that's just simple? You can just load some stuff into it and you can trigger it. Plain and simple, easy. That's what this is. There's different versions of this. Okay, there's a kick drum version, there's percussion versions that you can load in percussion sounds, and you hit it with a drumstick and it triggers the sound. It's a trigger for your drum pads, okay? It comes with, well, let me finish what I'm saying first and I'll show that. This one is called the Wav Pad. The Wav Pad is specific in that you get 12 basically like presets, you could call them. Now, you can technically get up to 24 if you get a little like tricky with it, and I'll explain that afterwards, but initially you get 12. You load a 16-bit 44 hertz wave file into this thing. You drop it in the folder, and you set it up with a little, it has these little numbers, it's like a phrase. You have to add like these, like for it to play through like a whole track, you have to put like _ph after it. It gives you all that information on here. There's different ways to trigger it, basically. Because if you're using it for drum stuff, you could trigger it so that way if you hit it hard, you get one sound. If you hit it soft, you get another sound. I've got this set up so that literally I just hit it and a backing track starts to play. And when the backing track is done, it just stops. Like, you don't have to do anything. It's just over when it's done. It doesn't repeat, it doesn't loop. You can make it do that, but generally speaking, it doesn't do that. Also takes batteries as well. And I'm pretty sure you can use a pedal supply, like power cord. It doesn't come with a power cord. It does come with the batteries. And I have some leftover pedal supply stuff, so I could probably use that with it. But anyway, it's getting long-winded. Basically, what you can use this thing for is to trigger a track, a sound, a drum loop, or whatever you want to trigger. Well, I've got 12 like 3 to 4 minute backing tracks in here that basically you just have to remember what's 1, what's 2, what's 3, because it just says it's 1 through 12. But you write that on a piece of paper or in your iPad or whatever, and you just keep track of it.
So basically, when you like hit it with your foot or a drumstick or like a knuckle or something.
Yeah, you gotta hit kind of hard with your
knuckles. Yeah, you kind of have to hit it really hard.
It's easier to do with your foot, I've noticed.
Or a drumstick. It's probably very easy to do with the drumstick.
It would be easy to do with the drumstick.
Basically, yeah, you hit it pretty hard and then it plays a backing track.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple. Super.
Now, what was your idea with these?
Oh, well, I'll explain that in a minute, bud.
I'm sitting here until you explain it.
So now I gotta explain the idea. But my other idea that I figured, because it has a it has a headphone output, and it has a regular master out. The master out will only play one of the folders. Each input has 2 folders. It has a click folder and a master folder.
Yep. What he was thinking
was
that he could maybe
if you can put a track like a backing track in the click folder and in the master folder, and then you would literally just on one you'd have 2. You would just turn your knob to this side for one of the tracks, turn your knob to this side for the other track, and that would
mean that you would be getting 24.
You get 24
things instead of 12 that we do in the normally.
But you have to output from the headphone jack in order to do that, because the headphone jack is designed so that way you can mix the click track in with the master if you're actually using a click track. So anyway, that was my idea with that. But generally speaking, I bought this to run my backing tracks. So if you're like a solo artist and you just want something simple to run backing tracks, this just runs out with a TRS stereo cable that you can plug into your PA system or whatever. It's very, very cool in that way. I'll show you. This is the box, just as like a little bit of an unboxing here, because I didn't really do an unboxing on this. All it comes with really is a manual. It comes with a bracket that you can hang in on a drum stand, because it's meant to go on a drum stand or on the floor as like a kick pad, like almost like a kick drum. And that was it. That's all it came with, actually, and the batteries and some bracket pieces, basically. So it's pretty sparse what comes in the box. Okay, so here's kind of a practical demonstration. This is kind of a practical demonstration right now of how this actually works. It's on the floor like this, if you'll notice. If I tap it, my backing tracks start. So that's actually pretty cool right there. So yeah, so I'll kind of show you how I've been using it. So, whoops, yeah, gotta tap it and make it come on. so generally speaking, it's a good, it's a really simple and easy way to get your backing tracks running through a PA or some kind of like speaker system that you're going to be using live. I mean, I have some new equipment that I'm going to be dealing with. I have a Roland Cube that I'm using for like, it's like a busking amp that I'm basically using for small gigs that I'm kind of setting up so I can play out solo. I had picked up a mixer and stuff. I got other equipment that I'm going to do videos about at a different point in time. But generally speaking, today we're talking about this. But this is a pretty basic, a pretty simple item, and I really, really recommend this for anyone who's just playing out that just needs to have like, you know, a handful of tracks, 12 or 24 backing tracks to just trigger, you know, on occasion per song or whatever. It's super simple. So, but anyway, if you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, and yes, I've kind of changed it up with the SFX loop a little bit because I'm not doing as many videos of the SFX loop now. I'm kind of focusing more on the effects loop because that seems to get the most views, the guitar related stuff and the music related stuff. But I am going to be doing, on occasion, I still will be doing the SFX loop.
What about movie stuff?
That's the SFX loop. But I'm probably going to be doing a podcast for the effects loop that I'm going to start doing soon, and those episodes will get up soon. So yeah.
What is a podcast?
Podcast, you know what a podcast is?
No, I don't.
Yes, it is. It's an audio, people talking, things, what you don't like, live streams, basically.
Oh.
I'm not live stream, but a podcast. I might do live streams eventually. But anyway, so yeah. My name is Jay Byrne, and this has been the Effects Loop. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something interesting out of this. And there you go. Have a good day.